Hi cuties, it's Kylan. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing my top 6 favorite foundations and I'm so excited for this video. I love trying new foundations and I think that for me the base is like the most important part of my makeup. Once I finished my face makeup was kind of just like whatever from there on. So I have tried all of these foundations and I am presenting you guys with my top favorites, and trust me, your skin will thank you, so you don't have to try all the terrible ones that I've tried. Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up if you're excited to see what my favorite foundations are, and subscribe down below because I would love to have you here on my channel. Let's get into my top favorite foundations. So the first foundation I'm going to be talking about is the Smashbox StudioSkin 15-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. And this foundation is a medium to full coverage. I do have oily combination skin. It's mostly leaning towards the oily side, so I really like this foundation, and when I saw hydrating I was kind of like, maybe not, but actually it dries down to a very matte finish, so I'm not sure how you would feel about it if you are dry. However, as you wear it throughout the day, it does get much more dewy. And this is a medium to full coverage foundation, and almost all of these are, so if you don't like the medium to full coverage look, you could definitely sheer it out if you use a really light hand and a beauty blender. However, you could also watch a bunch of different videos here that I'm sure other people have done that like more of a sheer to medium coverage. This foundation is a very thick consistency, so when you pump it out, it does stay like in the form that you pump it in. It doesn't spread out or get really liquidy or runny. So for that I like to use a kabuki brush to apply it, and I think that it gives it the most flawless full coverage look. I've gotten a lot of compliments when I've worn this foundation, so of course I really love it, and I am in the shade 1.1. It is oil free and it does not have sunscreen. The next foundation is a drugstore favorite, and I wanted to incorporate these not just because they're drugstore, but really because these are my top favorites and some of them are drugstore. So this one is the Wet n Wild Photofocus foundation, and this is in the shade Soft Beige, and so this is light medium warm. The thing about this is that they don't have a shade that quite matches me when I'm lighter, so I did just pick up this one, and it's a little bit lighter than Buff Bisque, which is what I wear when I'm tanned. And this foundation is amazing. It is a liquidy finish and it does have a little spatula, so you can see it's pretty runny. And I like to just take the spatula and dot it on my face and then blend it out with the beauty blender, and I find that that gives the most flawless effect. And I have used this in photos. It's beautiful. Wet n Wild actually engineered this specifically to banish the dreaded flashback that we all know can pop up in pics. And if you don't know what flashback is, it's basically when you wear a foundation that either has SPF or some sort of mineral or ingredient that when the camera flashes, it's going to reflect back. And it is most common in foundations with SPF. This foundation is amazing. It is definitely a full coverage, and if you apply a little bit, like I said, you can definitely sheer it down. It is a pretty matte finish. It does wear a little bit more dewy throughout the night, so with every foundation I like to set it. If you have more normal to dry skin, you might not need to because it sets down pretty well on its own. The next foundation I'm going to talk about is one that you guys probably know about if you've been here on my channel for a little while, and that is the Diorskin Airflash foundation. I have been a loyal user of this for a couple years now, and I just wanted to put it in here because it is one of my all-time favorites. When I am light, I am in the shade 202, and I can go up to the shade 300 in this foundation. Now, what's unique about this is that it is an aerosol like spray can, so it's kind of like you really have to shake it before you use it, and it's basically like spray paint. I do not recommend spraying this on your face. The way I like to apply this is I spray it on either a round top brush or my Artis, the little horsehair looking brushes, and that gives the most flawless effect. So I just shake it, spray it, and then start brushing it on my face. And this foundation is probably one of the most natural looking, I would say, in finish. it wears really, really well. So both of these foundations I can attest to, they wear definitely 8 hours plus. This foundation as well is very long wearing, and I typically have to have something like that because if it's going to slip off with my oily skin, I do not want it, honey. So it has pearl pigments that actually reflect the light, so it does give more of a natural finish. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily dewy. So I love this one, and you guys should definitely give it a try if you're looking for something that's going to be really flawless, and it's definitely very gorgeous in pics as well. The next foundation is one that is very beloved here on YouTube, and it has been for a while. It's definitely a little more hardcore than the others, and that is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup. Now, this foundation does come without a pump, so I actually bought a pump from MAC and twisted it on, but I really love this. This is a very matte finish, very full coverage foundation. So if you like to have that full beat face every day and you want to have something that literally will last you 24 hours, this is for you. And none of these foundations have broken me out, of course, because why would I love them if they broke me out? But I do want to say this one in particular is non-acnegenic, and that's something that really drew me to it. It definitely has the potential to stay matte on me all day long versus the others where I do have to set and blot with. And I am in the shade 2C3 Fresco. The letdown to this foundation that puts it a little bit lower than others in my book is that it has possibly the worst flashback known to mankind. And it's because it has titanium dioxide in it. So I'm sure that you guys have heard of the dreaded double wear flashback, and that's just something that you do have to kind of live with this foundation. But if you're going to be doing something where you're going to be taking engagement pictures, or you're going to an amusement park and you want to have really flawless skin all day long that's really sweat proof, this is your best bet. And I like to apply this one with a beauty blender. Something I did want to mention for you guys is if you do love something that's long wearing, but you don't need a full coverage or you don't necessarily want that, the Double Wear Stay in Place Light is also an awesome alternative, and I've gotten my mom and sister onto this because they're not necessarily into like the full beat regular double wear, but they absolutely love this. This is a definitely sheer medium buildable coverage, and I do not think that this one has the flashback that the normal one has. Another foundation that's definitely similar to the Estee Lauder Double Wear, I knocked it over, is the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra 24-Hour Makeup. And I have the shade 220 Buff Cool. Now, one of the amazing things about this foundation is the shade range. I can tell you guys, when you go to Ulta or, you know, Sephora, whatever, there's like 100 shades, I swear to you. It's amazing. And it does come with a pump, hallelujah, and it is a demi matte finish, I would say. So once you first start to apply it, it can definitely have the same or a similar finish to the Estee Lauder. However, as you wear it, it's not going to wear quite as matte throughout the day. My oils can come through a bit, but it's nothing that is like an oil slick, and it's definitely more matte than the other ones that I mentioned. Now, this does have an SPF of 15, but I think it's a chemical SPF, so you're not going to see a terrible flashback in your photos. So this is an awesome foundation as well, and it definitely wears 24 hours for sure. Now, the last foundation I wanted to talk about, I wanted to save the best for last, I think, and this is the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless, and I am in the shade 120 Classic Ivory. And this is pretty much a perfect match for me right now, and this foundation is very liquidy. It doesn't come with a pump, but you know, I'm willing to overlook that. I just pour it onto the back of my hand and then dot it onto my face, and I do apply it with a beauty blender. Now, when you first apply this, I've applied it like maybe half an hour or 40 minutes ago, and you can tell that it's not necessarily still matte. When you first apply it, it is pretty matte. The poreless part of it is absolutely correct. It smooths over the pores. It's amazing. Now, it is a more natural finish, and that's something that I think you should know, because if you do have extremely oily skin, you're gonna have to blot like I do. It's pretty lightweight. Now, a lot of these other ones are not gonna feel unnoticeable. You're definitely gonna, you know that you have makeup on. With this one, it definitely has a much lighter feel to it, and I absolutely love it. I was actually using it the other day and my sister was like, "That's an amazing foundation. What is it?" And I was like, it's Maybelline, like literally. Definitely give it a go if you have normal to oily skin. I think even dry skin might be able to wear it. It doesn't really cling to my dry patches at all, which is something that is an absolute no for me. Other than that, all of these foundations are amazing and I highly recommend them to you guys. If you have tried these and you have a different skin type than me, and maybe if you didn't like it or if you loved it, please leave that down below so that everyone can see it and understand, if they have a similar skin type to you, what it might be like on them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found some new foundations that you may test out and love. Hopefully you did, and hopefully I put something in here that might be for you. So if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, like I said, before you leave, and subscribe down below so I can see you guys in my next video. Bye!